Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. And Felicia is here on time. This is fantastic.
Surprise! Uh, I've had to deal with my own kind of March Madness, so um, I'm here tonight. There's not so much madness tonight,
Mm.
luckily. Uh, if you only knew.
Mm.
Welcome to episode 12 of season 11. Not 12, 22. Whoa.
Ah.
Uh,
It's
did you miss
fine.
me? Um, Oh my gosh, for more than 10 years, I have been fucking this up just for you, and you keep listening, and you keep coming back. So it's your fault that I'm still here. And I am Felicia Fefe Minor, and over there in the beautiful red, white, and blue is
It's actually
Freddy
not
Prinze
blue, it's
Charming.
actually more of a tealy green.
Okay, sure.
It is. I didn't use any blue. It's all like green and teal. It's fine.
Uh, uh, mm. Anyhow,
It's fine.
you can get exclusive content that does not include Freddy's whining, unless you want that on our Patreon. Then you let us know, and we will work that out for you.
I
Because,
can make anything happen.
but why? I think that Freddy should do disappointing dad things for some of our Patreon folks. But if you're interested in that and you join, you have to let us know because then then we'll work on it, and then I will work on the dismissive mom that thought that you should have done better, right? Like, oh, if you had only gone to medical school like your brother, you know, I could work on that. You can join us on patreon.com/let's have a fifi, and we like to thank Brandon, Chris, and Michelle, Dee, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon for joining us on Patreon. Make sure you check it because we be putting stuff up there, and sometimes we be going pretty hard
I might be
because
behind a
we
week. Things are
got a
crazy
lot.
right now. Like my sense of time is a little off and I'm very behind in things. So I think I might be behind a week in some stuff.
Oh,
So I apologize for that. I will try to fix that as soon as possible. Just
oh,
I'm sorry. I'm
oh.
human.
You are? How rude.
Mm,
Thought I
I
was getting
know.
top of the line robotics. Anyway, um, special thanks to um, Success Boutique, LC Designs, Wigs of a Kind. Uh, this is a Wigs of a Kind. I kind of put my hand through it tonight because I wanted it to kind of look with my look. But good work
Uh,
otherwise for the last more than a decade. Um, Marissa's been doing my hair. Um,
I'm getting a new wig to bring to Austin with me. I'm very excited.
oh, I think we should take a trip to see Marissa. That would be
That would be fun.
interesting. You can support us by going to paypal.me/let's have a Fifi. Give us all the money. But if you don't want to do that, you can give us stars. Last month we earned about 4,500 stars. Um,
Which is what, $4?
maybe.
Yeah.
But still, every penny counts. Every penny helps us get somewhere. We're almost out of tank of gas, almost. And if you're on Facebook, you can
Gas
press
went
the
up
little
again. It's
star
now almost
button.
back up to almost $5 a gallon.
Yeah, we can get
Fuckers.
1 gallon right now.
Right, not a tank. We can get about a gallon.
Yeah, yeah. hmm Um, if we want to thank Laura, I know Laura has done it in the last week, and all the others who have given, the stars on the Facebook. I think that other platforms are about to try to do this as well. So if you're on YouTube, I think that they're gonna start trying to do it too. So if you
Oh,
like
that's
some
cool.
food, that's cool too. Anyway, and I'm so behind on this too. But if you want to get show alerts, text LHAF to 602-730-7379. Someone's screaming
Yeah.
at the top of their lungs. It's not like I do this every Wednesday. Why is she
I
screaming?
feel like your
Anyway.
husband should just take the kids for a walk between the hours of, I don't know, 8 and 9.
Anyhow, but thanks for supporting us. How was your weekend, Freddie? Oh my god.
So most of my weekend has consisted of a lot of prepping for Austin because I'm feeling very far behind. Um, I'm struggling with some of the music, which I'm lucky because they haven't released the schedules yet, so that which means they haven't asked us for music yet. So like
Oh.
I have a rough idea of when I'm performing at the festival, sort of, but since they haven't released the schedules, I don't know officially. So I am still working on some music, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine though. It's
I got
fine,
news for
and
you.
I've put
I
my
never know what I'm doing.
but I have to send the music in beforehand because it's such a big thing. They can't take it the
Mm-hmm.
day of. Like it has to be organized before. So I have to figure out what I'm doing like really, really
I
soon.
remember that. I remember that
Really
for
soon.
myself. Because I was like,
And I'm freaking out just a
ooh.
little bit, but it's okay. But Friday night was bingo, which was actually fun, and it was a sold out crowd.
Sold out.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes new isn't better. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Sometimes new
And
is
we
not
did.
better.
We had a blast. A
Oh
blast.
my god. It was so much
Mm-hmm.
fun. It was great. It was great. And yes.
Best thing for me was the largest martini glass I've ever seen in my life.
And the
Served
women that
right
were
up.
drinking out of it, that was like, oh my god,
They got funnier
they were
throughout
a
the night.
riot. Someone's grandmas were having a blast at bingo. Like it was,
They were all
yeah.
retired. Um, they were just, and one of them said that she's a self-proclaimed beer pitcher drinker. Hmm. And I was like, well, how big is the pitcher? She goes, like those tall ones that you put Kool-Aid in. And I said, that's not a pitcher.
Oh
That's
my
like,
god, I mean, that's a pitcher, but that's like an actual pitcher. Like,
I was like, I
good
don't think,
lord.
I'm like, what bar do you go to? She goes, my kitchen. And I'm like, oh, okay. Got it.
So
Figured it
basically, she
out.
just sort of takes a 6-pack and just pours it into this gigantic like lemonade pitcher.
Hmm.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And she's the one that
Um.
she was not the DD, but she said she could be if she needed to. And I was like,
Oh god.
don't
Okay.
drink and drive, kids.
Um.
I promise it doesn't
And
work that
then
way.
last night we were invited to attend the United Against Hate event at ASU, which consisted of basically they invited a lot
Buffoonery.
of like folks from the community, a lot of the like community leaders. There were people there from different organizations, and the panel consisted of folks from law enforcement,
Whew.
somebody from the FBI,
Whew.
um, the state's
Whew.
attorney's office, uh, Phoenix Pride, which was really funny because they basically did not a lot, but that was, and yeah, that
Um,
was
my take on it, I felt better after I talked to one person, maybe two people. Last two people that I talked to made me feel a little bit better, but I felt a little It was great to have the conversation started. Let's say that. Um,
Right.
it felt like um, in my head, I thought I was going to be told like what to do if said crimes or hate crimes were committed. What to do if you feel unsafe. What
And they
to do.
did basically call us and report it, which but then they kept talking in circles every time someone was like, okay, but the reason that these things aren't reported is, especially here, like we live in a red state with blue lives matter people all over the place, and half the time you call the cops and you're going to get faced with the same discrimination that you're trying to report. And
Mhm.
their answer to everything was literally, well, just report it, because that's how funding happens. That's how, I was like, we get that, but what are you going to do to make sure that we are safe when we report these things? Well, we won't know. Like, you have to report it, because otherwise we won't know how people are going to be acting. Well, what the fuck then? Like, it's not. Uh,
So, um, the part for me that was really hard to digest was that um, what it came down to was that the community wanted to know how law enforcement, not just police, but state, federal, whatever,
Everybody.
how were they going to make their presence known and bring the community together? Now, uh, we talked to someone that said something to the nature that because of the climate, the Phoenix PD backed off of going to events like Phoenix Pride. I get that because of said things that have happened in the last couple years. Um, Things like that are the little things that I remember. So I'm sure that everybody else remembers. And so when the beat around the bush came to fruition, it made me more irritated in the sense that a couple people came off as arrogant and as uh, chauvinistic, and so that's the part where I could see the rest of the community being just like me and saying, "Okay, well, I'll report it," but at the same time, I don't feel like you're my brother, and I don't feel like you are supporting me. I feel like you're making fun of me because at some point somebody had an answer. They said we can grab coffee. I thought the answer was good until it became like kind of like a ha ha, like a
Right.
joke, and the
Right.
smirk came to be. And so,
Well, the individual that answered that question spent a lot of time talking and not a lot of time saying anything, and he had that smirk on his face pretty much the entire
he,
time.
and so, um, me, um, if I'm a victim of a hate crime, I did not feel safe. I did not feel I felt like the conversation welcomed me, and I'm glad that people brought us together. But I felt like the answers that were provided did not offer me a safe haven to go further with some of the relationships.
No, it was very surfacey, and literally the answer to everything was, well, if you just report it. But every time someone was like, okay, oh, we're not reporting because of X, Y, and Z. Phoenix PD was the number one in the top 10 most populous cities in the country. They were number one last year for use of violent force. That doesn't make me want to call Phoenix
Hmm.
PD. Glendale PD is known for not being
Hmm.
awesome. Um, like there's these track records that show that when people call, they're not there to serve and protect. They're there
And I
to
don't.
do whatever
I,
the fuck it is that they do, and like,
and I don't mean like the whole news story where one cop plays basketball. I get it. I get it. You're an organization. You got to play the PR game. Got it. What I mean is, like, if we have Joshua Tree has volunteers on Wednesdays, then we go and we see their presence there and we know they're there. Um, and we have like the thing that was missing
But
is relationship building within the community. And
I think
I
the
feel like if we built
problem I was gonna
uh-huh.
say the part of the problem though is that there are so there are so
Mhm.
few good cops that okay, so someone goes out and plays fucking basketball with somebody or someone shows up at a soup kitchen. At this point it just seems like okay, it's performative and nobody gives a shit. Like we want to see actual
Mhm.
change and we want to see things be actually different, but nobody can give us any answers when it comes to that sort of thing. It's they keep talking about, oh, we want to build relationships. Okay, but I really couldn't I could not care less if you showed up at, I don't know, whatever. I don't give a fuck if you're a Phoenix Pride. Don't care. There are bigger things that need to happen. The cops that
Mhm.
are using excessive force need to be weeded out and fired, not put on paid leave, not put no, excessive force
Oh,
is
well,
excessive
I
force.
love
That's
that
just,
answer.
and
Somebody said something about,
oh
"Oh,
god.
we should fire them." Oh, well, we would have to investigate and we hear it. We hear you.
Oh my god.
Just a
It's
massive disconnect. Let's see. Let me get to all y'all. Even people on the panel brought up why reporting isn't the only answer. That's what I mean. I mean, like, there should be multiple answers. That's what I mean. I mean, like, uh, uh, at this point, it should be like absurdly like. And the one thing that's been sticking out of my mind all day is the question that what's her name? Sherry's husband asked is,
mm,
like Gen Z sees a police officer saying, fuck you, do this, do that, or I'm a neo-Nazi and I'm a police officer. What are we doing about that? And that became like reported. And like
right.
in my head, I see the police force as a company, and this is a culture that you have cultivated. I think that's what I'm trying to get
And
at. This is the
that's what he
culture.
said, is he said that culture tends to override policy. Culture erases policy, and that's what it is. Because everybody was like, well, if someone's threatening you or someone's harassing you, like that's illegal, blah blah blah. It's like, then why are you doing shit? Like there literally there are threats online constantly about everything, but they're like, well, is if they don't really do anything, then it's like it's a really sticky situation. It's like, okay, so you're gonna wait till something happens.
That's exactly what they
Cool.
sounded like.
Cool.
Um,
Great. Fantastic. I actually asked, I was like, so, why are we so hesitant to, classify groups like the Proud Boys as domestic terrorists? And, what are we doing to shut that shit down and, find these people and do something about it? And they're like, again, got the runaround and a bunch of bullshit answers. It was basically, well, behind the scenes, we do that. Okay, well, behind the scenes, there's been a lot of shit happening since,
mhm,
oh, I don't know, say January ish of
mhm.
like 2021, and
Man.
nothing fucking done. So I'm tired of this bullshit rhetoric. I'm tired of, well,
Mhm,
behind the scenes. No, 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 no. Stop behind the scenes. There needs to be a public outcry from like states' attorneys, from law enforcement, from these people that are supposed to protect us from these other people, that we will not tolerate this. Instead of, okay, well, we'll just, okay, guys, you have to really kind of, we need you to like, can you move off the property, please? Because it would be really cool if you could. Like, if you could just like, we'd really appreciate it if you'd stop like filming people and the kids and stuff. And can you please not call in the bomb threats? No, fuck that. Fuck
mhm.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yes. Massive disconnect. Yes. a company who is supposed to be protecting the public, no matter who is asking for the protection. Yes, I have a whole thing about mental health and how we don't train police officers for that. We don't train. mm, yeah. Um, Even worse, all of these issues are starting to bleed into public schools. They are. Um, and I believe that somebody that wasn't a um, cop per se was influenced by um, a school resource officer, both negative
Oh,
and
he was one of the state's
positively.
attorneys.
Hmm.
He was one of
And
the attorneys, I believe.
so there's all kinds of things. What I'm careful of is being dismissive. What I want is more conversations. And a couple of them have said that they would come on the show. So if they hold to their word, they'll be on the show and we can um, hold them to the flame. But I didn't know how to feel when I left the conversation last night. Um, let's see here. I thought it was interesting how one panelist said they could not talk about an open case, then directly pointed to the two victims at the center of the case, calling them by name. Yes. Yes. Um, uh, and I even spoke to that person later on, and uh, mm,
Yeah, it
it
was.
left me feeling very uneasy, because I had asked about certain things, um, and I was kind of told basically in summary that I should report it.
That was, and again, that was their whole thing.
That
Report
was
it.
the that was the
Yeah,
whole thing of the night, that I
just
should
report
report
it.
it.
And it,
Um,
but they weren't getting the why people weren't reporting. Like it's like I don't know if they don't want to hear it
well,
or
and I
if they think
almost
it's
said,
like
okay, so if you take out any specific group, okay, so like when you got beat up in school, if you got beat up in school, whatever, or you tripped and fell, or something of that nature, you either felt ashamed or you felt like you couldn't go somewhere. Like even if you have trusting parents, sometimes you just like, oh, I this is a mess, where can I go, and your mind doesn't function on, I'm gonna go immediately and report this. It functions on, I need to survive.
right.
Right. And so I'm not sure, um especially when you know that the person that you're supposed to be reporting to hasn't given you the uh, time of day or giving you a sense of reassurance, um, that it still bothers me. So I go back to, I'm not going to report. I mean, I will report, but um, the sense of uh, credibility and accountability and trust is not there. Um,
Right.
we buy, and I'm really serious. I consider the police departments companies, and what they do is bled off into the public because they are a public entity, a public company that serves the public. Um, what I believe is that their culture, their brand does not give off, and they're not working toward turning that around. They're working toward just being that hard shell. mm, you know, what they advised is that there is not numbers, and to answer your question, if there's so it's like a catch 22 almost. Like you don't
Mm.
report it, you don't get the help. You don't We don't say anything, then they don't know. Um, but also they're not present, so we kind of make up our own narrative and we see things and we feel things and we go about our business and make up our own rhetoric and we all stay home or we don't. I You get beat up and you just say, okay, well, I'm not going to even go to the ER. I'm just going to put some ice on it and hopefully it's not broken.
And that happens
Um,
a lot too, especially with like trans folks, because
yeah, especially when you are dealing with folks. It was brought up about being culturally competent, and I love that. I was like, yeah, doesn't mean that you have to be all up in the culture, but it
right,
means that you have a fair understanding of how the culture works, who talks to who. Because there are some police officers that do know the culture and they know, like, oh, an incident happened. Oh, they're not talking. I'll go down the street and talk to good old what's his name because I know he'll tell me who to contact and how it works and who's, you know, that it in some places they actually do trust their police force. So um, I don't know. It's just so mm, yeah. But
yeah,
I encourage the reporting, but I say take action how you feel, like protecting yourself, how you. Um, I don't want to encourage any violence, but what I want to encourage is that we have the conversations with each other, that we are working on keeping ourselves safe. Um, and I know that there's no way to be 100% safe because outside entities can work their way in. Um, for bigger things like the Proud Boys visiting gay bars, um, I don't really have an answer because I wasn't given one.
yeah, no, they. There was a lot of avoidance.
I think they were trying to be
There's a
careful,
little-
but I'm not sure why. So
Like
I
I understand that there's things that like
you can't
they
say,
can't
but
talk about, and I understand that, but also you're doing a panel like this, so you would think that they would be expecting
can I
questions, but
okay,
what the
so
hell do I know?
I had turned to Freddie and said, "Why is there only one person taking notes?" Cuz in my head, so I'm a very visual body language person. Some of the panelists had body language that read like I just want to go home. I don't want to be here, or I'm giving this presentation because I'm getting overtime. One
Right,
panelist actually looked like they gave a damn. That wasn't associated with Phoenix Pride. I'm not talking about our own people. I'm talking about like law enforcement or
right.
so that's where like just looking at the room in the panel, if you just looked, you if you were that person that just looked at people, it just infuriated me because there was one person taking notes and actually writing stuff down when people spoke.
It was, I don't know, it was just for what it was and what I was expecting. It was not that, so
I was
it is what it
expecting
is.
more of
That's
like a
fine.
round table, like give and take.
Something
Town
like I don't
hall,
I don't
maybe?
know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like I don't know what you had originally thought this was going to be, but okay, this is your idea of reaching out to the community. Bravo, I guess. Like, it's just not. Uh,
I mean,
it's not
conversation
awesome,
started, consider it done. But what's next? I didn't hear that either. But I hope
right?
that there's more discussion. I hope that we're able to, as we learn more, that we give more, that we're able to provide something or figure out something for ourselves. And I know that that's totally against law enforcement etiquette, but but there that's how this happens. That's how people like do the survival of the fittest on the streets because they realize that, they can't be
Right.
supported, or they,
Yep.
you trip over a rock and you can't even call 911. I mean, but don't dial 911 for tripping over a rock. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely not what I was expecting. But
And as a person that's being followed by a hate group, it made me more confused.
and honestly, I really would have loved to have seen the people that were on that panel from like One Community and Phoenix Pride and things like that really kind of speak up and try and hold people accountable, but nobody did.
Hmm.
Like
And
nothing. Like they were very quiet. Very quiet.
so I don't know if this bothers you, and maybe this is a personal thing, but when the public is speaking, or when the public is learning from those that are of the authority, I feel like some of the terminology should be kind of turned down and not dumbed down, but like, can we get like vernacular going? And so I understand right away what you're talking about. There were a couple of times where I'm just kind of like, mm, hmm. And I
I
had to
mean, yeah, like
think,
when
but
some of them
I'm
when they
an
start
educated
using like
person, and there,
right. But it's like
and
they when they start
so,
using like legalese and and it's honestly it's how they are able to maintain any sort of control. It's like, well, let me use these big words and phrases and terms that not everybody's going to need, know what they are, and I'll just seem bigger and better because
but
that's how that works.
I learned a long time ago that when you use big words, it's a sign of insecurity, and you want people to think that you're bigger than you are. So,
Indubitably.
but that being said, uh, I don't know what the next step
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't know at this point. I have no idea. But let's move on to something that is a little lighter, a little, not quite so heavy. Um, so we we figured this evening we'd talk about some tips to try and kind of stay young, no matter how old you are. And I'm gonna say number one, the
mm,
number one tip I can give anybody is don't take yourself so seriously.
oh, I'll call you when I'm having a mental
Like we
breakdown.
like you know those people that like they're like, oh well I'm such and such an age, so I have to conduct myself as
As
a proper
such,
adult
and
at all
I must
times.
hold my
um
head up. And
I can't possibly do anything that would have people look at me as if I were younger than I like. It's like, dude, relax, Jesus Christ, like
do
it's
you,
not that
boo?
serious. Like it's like, oh my god, loosen the fuck up. What the hell? Like they're the people that
Hmm.
like they won't watch Disney movies because they're like cartoons, they're kids movies. And I'm like, what the hell? I've
What?
actually known somebody like that. They're like they won't like they
Oh,
things like Disney movies and whatever, like
hmm.
they're like they might watch them
So
with their kids, but they won't watch them by themselves because they're kids
I've
movies.
had this discussion. In fact, I think I've had it recently at work where somebody told me that, oh, I don't watch cartoons, and I'm like, huh? Like my favorite thing to do is watch the cartoons that I used to watch when I was a kid, especially if they're on the streaming services. I will get up in the morning with my kids and in my pajamas and eat cereal like I'm a little kid, but uh we're just
Why the hell not?
bigger kids, I think.
We're currently watching the original Star Trek animated series. It's terrible, but we're watching
Oh,
it because
but it's
oh
so
god, it's so
campy
bad.
though.
It is,
So
and it's so funny because it's exactly like it's identical to like the original series, like the actual like live action. It's just like they canceled the series and then just had everybody back so they could do the voices, but they didn't have to pay them to actually act. It's really funny. Um, so this next thing, and this is kind of a controversial view of mine. This is my own personal view. I'm just going to say that, but this is something that, like, as an adult, because as
as a
kids,
grown kid.
most of the time our parents are always like, you have to save your money, you have to save your money, you have to save your money, you have to save your money. Like, that's drilled into us growing up.
Hmm.
And that's it, and that's regardless of whatever socioeconomic status you had while you were growing up. It was always, you have to save your money, whatever, anything extra you have, you have to squirrel it away, you have to hold on to it. And here's my take on this. So while you're saving, right, as an adult, are you still
Hmm.
doing things? Are you taking trips? Are you traveling? Are you doing stuff with your kids or your family, or are you just saving? Are you working so hard that you're not spending any time at the house that you pay for? Are you working so hard that you can't actually enjoy all this money? You have all this money piling up, but you're not doing anything with it. Okay, so you've got all this money saved. What do you fucking do? You're gonna, you take a 1 week vacation every 5 years or some bullshit. Like, is that eh?
You could just
So
at
here's
me
my thing.
though.
Uh, here's my thing. Like, you can't take it with you. And
But I want to.
and
I want to burn
like
my money
I
with
get the
me.
whole, like, oh God. So the idea of like generational wealth, right? So you're gonna make money, you're gonna save all this money, and then when you die, it's gonna go to your kids, right? So,
Hmm.
but here's the thing, okay? So while you're saving all this money to give to your kids after you die, what do you think is going to mean more to them? This is assuming, of course, that you have a decent relationship with your kids and your family or whatever. So, what do you think they're going to appreciate more? Getting a bunch of money when you die, or having all of these really awesome memories with you while you are still alive?
What I can tell you is I can't do either. But I
Right.
would love to go traveling more.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's great. Like, okay, so you want to save some money. That's fantastic. But in the meantime, your kids aren't going to have anything, like, they'll be talking to their friends or whatever later as adults, and their friends will be like, oh my God, it was so cool. My parents, we did a family trip here, we did a family trip there. And your kids or whatever will be like, we never really went anywhere. I mean, my parents like saved everything, and like we went to Disneyland once. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, I I am of the opinion that, I mean, don't blow all your money, obviously, if you can help it, but like, don't hoard it. It's not going to do anybody any damn good. Your best bet is to use it to do fun things, make memories, do things that you can look back on, do things that your kids can look back on, do things that will make an impact on somebody's memories, whether it's yours, your partner's, your kids, whatever. Because I don't know. I would rather have the memories. I would rather have the experiences. I would rather have all of that
Hmm.
than a bunch of money. Okay, although let me caveat with this real quick. I'm mostly speaking about, like, the relationship that, like, my partner and I have with, our kids, as opposed to the relationship that I have with my father, because I did a lot of shit and most of it I don't remember and I don't really care, so it's whatever. But like, we've already, like, this is something we've talked about. Like, we'd rather give them experiences than, like, either things or just have a bunch of money to be like, here, we're dying, have all this stuff. So let's see.
I
Kind of,
I think
yes.
so. I was the kid that um, we didn't really go anywhere. I think we went to SeaWorld. That was the only thing I can really, really remember. Oh, Six Flags, maybe. But those are like just the two things I can really think of that really stick out in my head. But we had experiences that maybe uh, uh, I don't know, but we stayed home a lot, and
Right.
so when I became an adult, I obviously spent my money. Obviously went places, still do, and maybe that's what drives me today is because I'm not very good at. I can stay home for a while, but um, if the opportunity fits, I can work hard to say, oh, I'm gonna go. Like the one year I went to Austin, I was working my tail off and then said, oh, I'm gonna go. And I did. And but um circumstances change, I understand. But if I really get the bug, I say, ooh, we're gonna go somewhere. Or sometimes even Scott gets the bug and says, oh, we're gonna take a trip to Sedona real quick. Or we're gonna go travel to, so and so. Um, but I say the experiences are, especially if you have funny moments that go along with it, or you go, oh, remember you spit milk out at the Grand Canyon. But just
Or
silly
you jam out
things.
to the Spice Girls on the way back from,
Yeah, and that video now has
nationals.
over 1,000 views. I don't know how that keeps happening,
Oh,
but
that's funny.
just things like that. And definitely dressing up in drag has definitely given us more than enough opportunities to travel the country and then some.
Yep. Oh, for
So,
sure. So to kind of go along with that,
mhm.
I am a big fan of. Okay, big fan might be
Are you?
go
Are
to
you?
amusement parks. So I love Disneyland. I love that shit. I'm not so much like Six Flags and shit because like I don't do the roller coasters, so I could skip the Six Flags. But like, go do the amusement park
Boo.
thing. Like, go to Disneyland, go to Disney World, go to wherever the fuck it is that you want to go. Go to Universal Studios. Do those things and have fun with it. Get excited about it. Like when we went to Disneyland over Christmas, we did the whole Disney bounding thing. Like, go do shit. Like, just, have fun with it. It's okay to
Hmm.
be like, I'm going to go to Disneyland. I'm going to dress up like a fucking princess and I'm going to eat cotton candy until I throw up.
But we can't dress like a princess.
Okay, well, you can
I might
Disney
take
bound as a
away from their
princess.
attention.
You can Disney bound as a
I will take
princess.
away.
You can Disney bound
Okay.
as a princess. But like I'm all for it. Eat the fucking junk food. Like do the things. Like and just get
Hmm.
excited about it. Play dress up. Go to cons, go to festivals, whether it's steampunk cons, whether it's a Comic-Con, whether it's like Burning Man or Wasteland Weekend or whatever the fuck else is out there. Go do the things. Like do that shit. Find cool costumes to wear. Like create a whole fucking persona. Do the things that we used to do as kids. Um,
Can I admit something? So I need to find when I can do this, but I want to take Lily to Disney on Ice. I don't know why this is a thing, but I've always wanted to go to Disney on Ice, and I've never gone. So, so if you all see me at Disney on Ice, just know that I'm there supporting Lily, but I'm also there for the little boy inside me that's going like, "Woo, we finally made it."
are you old enough to remember the ice capades?
Yes.
I think I
I
went to
never
the
went
ice
to that
capades
either.
once when I was little.
I never went to
Once.
that. But
I was not so much a
I get
fan. Don't really
excited when I see
care.
those. When I see like Disney on Ice, I'm like, whew, I should go. But it would be weird if I go by myself.
Um, I'm also a big fan of I'm also a big fan of things like
Dressing up
game
for
nights with
grandparent.
like
Absolutely.
like fun, like silly games. Like, oh my god, the games that we have played at the game nights here. Oh my god, we are rolling, and there's like some of them are just stupid and juvenile, and but like they're fun.
But
They're
that's the
just fucking
point.
fun, and we end up laughing so damn hard. We have like cupcakes coming out of our noses, like, you know, we're choking on our food. We're blowing milk out our like. It's just fun. Go play games. Um, and okay, this may sound silly, but I know a lot of people who their wardrobe consists of like black, like all black, because I'm an adult. Maybe a blue shirt. Just
Oh.
tame
Oh.
colors, just because I'm an adult. I
Oh.
say fuck that and get some fun shirts and stuff into your wardrobe. I have Lord, I have shirts and button-up shirts. Like I have nice, like they're nice button-up shirts. I have button-up shirts with flamingos, origami, popsicles, mustaches, sunglasses, Vespas, um, rainbow shit, pride stuff. Like I have fun, like sharks. I have one. There's sharks that are eating people. Like
So I contest to that. I also have shirts that have like, well, I love to keep tour shirts. Yes, I pay that outrageous money for the tour shirts, which is another thing you can go to concerts. Sometimes people
nobody
have
can
the
afford that shit anymore.
well,
It's cheaper to go to Disneyland.
I mean, save your money, go to a concert. Um,
Oh,
but um, what was I gonna say? Oh, I love the shirts with the silly sayings on it, not just the sarcastic ones. Especially if there's something that I say all the time. Um, I will definitely buy it. If like if we have drag shirts, if you have your face on a shirt and I support you, I will buy a shirt. Those are fun. Um, I buy shirts with cartoon characters on them still, so um,
I've got like
have at
T-shirts with
it.
like Mario Brothers, and like my one of my favorite T-shirts is the seal of disapproval. It's a seal. It's a
Oh, you
grumpy
should wear
looking
that
seal.
when
It's
you're
flipping you
doing
off.
the Patreon.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Also,
so it's
in
like
your
it's
work clothes,
yeah.
oh, I'd be I'd be living it up. Nobody can tell me
I
nothing
go
at
for,
work.
like seriously. My partner has skirts with like lightsabers on them. Um, she has a skirt with zombie golden girls. Like this, it's
Oh, that's cute.
like they're
Uh,
right, and she wears these things to work because who
yeah, why
cares?
not?
Like make it fun, make it, and it seems like silly, but honestly, like just something like that can really kind of keep you from becoming like an old stuffy adult. Um, yeah,
And I
go to the
love bright
beach
colors too.
and
Mm.
don't just go to the beach and like sit under umbrella and like have a book or whatever and be like, okay, this is great. Like that's fun, like that's great and all, but get in the sand. Like get in the sand, build a sandcastle, bury somebody in the sand, get buried in the sand. Like go jump in the water unless it's
Come again?
freezing, because if it's freezing, I'm not going to be jumping in the water. Um, but
Oh,
like
I
go
love it when
when you
it's
go to the
freezing. I
beach,
can't swim, but
like don't just like sit on the shore, like especially if the water is warm, especially if you're on the Pacific side of things. Atlantic Ocean, I get it, it's a little bit chillier, but even still you can still do things like I don't know and
depending on your location, you may get trash.
I mean, be mindful of where you go to the beach. Not all beaches are created equal. And don't be afraid to get dirty. Like if you are somewhere and you're
Mm.
renting an ATV or something, or if you're at an amusement park and they've got like water rides or something, go do the things. And don't be afraid that, oh, I might get my shoes wet. Okay, well, if you're afraid you're going to get your shoes wet,
Laura, I
then
feel
don't
like that
wear
has
like
more than
fucking
one
suede
meaning.
shoes to a water park. You know what I mean? Like, go get muddy. Go,
Mm.
do shit that is going to have you rolling around in the dirt or something. Like, don't be afraid to get dirty.
You know what we
Things can
haven't
be
done?
washed. What?
Those rooms, the rooms that used to be like
Oh, the
next to
smash rooms. The smash rooms.
yeah, those. Mm,
We should do that for the
mm,
Patreon.
mm.
We should totally do that for the
I
Patreon.
think I want to try that.
That would be fun. But see,
Let's
there's stuff like
let's
that.
let's hope.
Go beat the hell out of an old TV. Like, just
Lawfully. Remember, we're
right.
trying not to be reported. Hmm.
I think the key thing, at least in my opinion anyway, to be able to sort of keep that sort of young frame of mind. And here's the thing: we all get older, and as we get older, we deal with different things. We deal with health issues that pop up. We deal with unexpected things from getting COVID. We deal with all this shit
Hmm.
that reminds us that we're getting older. You know, the fact that, we stand up and it sounds like somebody, like broke a what do you call it, a glow stick, you know what I mean? Like, we
Hmm.
walk and it sounds like, we're a bowl of Rice Krispies. Like, as we get older and we start hitting middle aged, and we are there are things that remind us that we are definitely not in our 20s anymore. But
Hmm.
as long as your as long as your mind is able to still be active, I think that there are things that your body can still do. And, that's regardless of any kind of anything that is going on with your body. I think, there are people, and we saw it at even the steampunk con, where people in wheelchairs and things had like whole full on like gear like designed onto their wheelchairs, like they're still able to do things. And you know I think that's one of those sort of key things where, yes, we're getting older, and yes, there are things that happen to us as we get older that might not be
Hmm.
the most amazing things. But I would like to think that as long as I am still able to do things, I'm gonna fucking do them. I may not be able to hear shit, but I'm still gonna do it. Like, I still want to travel for as long as I'm able to travel. I still want to go to fucking Disneyland for, I'm gonna be like this, 80-year-old dude still Disney bounding at Disneyland, because why not? So just for
And
as long as you are able to do things, go fucking do them. Don't wait, because if you wait, you may miss out.
my parents are in their late 60s. And um, one thing I know for a fact is staying active is wonderful if you can. My parents have found a new lease on life going to the gym. Um, and my mom participates in yoga, spin class, all
Mm.
these things. So if that's your thing, I say that staying young is, and I don't mean stay young as in like try to reverse the number. Like I mean stay young, like as in like stay lighthearted, uh, stay present, because our society in general focuses on us getting older as a bad thing, as being a demonized thing, as wrinkles show up, as things don't sit where they used to. Um, but uh, I think that you need to find that thing that makes you happy, and you say it all your life. Like, this is the thing that makes me happy. Go after that. Keep chasing that. And even more recently, I have had to scale myself and chase the thing that makes me happy, or find little things that make me smile throughout the day, because life can be a doozy. It can be a doozy for you, and nobody else can control that except for you.
Right. Exactly. So speaking of fun things to do, so summer is coming up. So real quick, here in Arizona, it gets hotter than fuck, and everybody complaining about the weather right now. You shut your fucking faces.
I love
Shut it,
it. I
because
love it.
before too long, it's going to get too damn hot to want to even go outside. So right now, I am enjoying the cooler weather. I am enjoying the rain. I am enjoying having to throw on like jeans and a hoodie. So anybody bitching about it, shut your whore mouth. Don't care. Don't want to hear it. Because in Arizona, summer hits and it gets too fucking hot and it sucks. So everybody always like
You know what,
we
Justine?
congregate inside or we
You keep your comments down there. I'm not
right.
putting that one on the screen. I'm not even.
Seriously. Yeah, no.
You
Um
keep that to yourself.
so when it gets hot here, we either congregate inside or we all go looking for the nearest swimming pool. And so, or body of water anywhere. So personally, okay, I hate public pools. I hate them. Hate them. I think they're disgusting.
But
It's like
why?
human soup. People are gross. It's gross. I fucking hate public pools with a passion. If I can avoid going to a public pool, I will avoid going to a public pool because they're just, bleh. I don't know where these people have been. I don't know, like, they're kids and then, no, I'm good. But no, hate public pools.
I
Hate them.
have been to a public pool. Um,
I,
I have not had that experience, but I guess I
I
feel
just
the
don't
same
like.
way about buffets.
I
I feel the
just
same way about buffets. Just in case anybody
see
wants to
the
know.
public pools are like the buffets of like the water world. I just don't know, but I
Mm-hmm.
do enjoy my own pool. I'm happy to like float because it's an above ground pool, so it's not like huge. I can't like do laps, but it's a pretty good sized pool.
You could.
When also, does anybody know anyone that like does pool services? Because we have to get the pool clean because it's gonna get hot here, and we keep forgetting to do shit.
I
But I
do.
like just being able to like go out and like just hang out in the pool. We have umbrellas. I will often throw some stuff on the grill. Like we have a
Hmm.
great setup to be able to like entertain and have folks over, have snacks. And we're even like totally on like we're totally up for having like a clothing optional like pool day for folks that don't mind clothing optional people, adults obviously, and like just come and kick back and hang out and whatever. Like I am down. Um, Water parks are kind of same as like the public pool thing. Like I just don't.
Really? Hmm.
I struggle with the whole like I like, gross. I just don't, I don't, and it's
I just
free
sit in the
flowing water.
lazy river. I just sit in the lazy river.
Yeah, but then you
Oh.
go to like
Mm.
you end up with like jam packed with all these people in the lazy river, and
Oh no.
just gross.
No,
Like
no, no, no. No.
yeah. uh,
I must have a
yeah.
presence about me that people don't mess with me. Mm. Can't imagine what that is.
Mm.
Go ahead.
I do like going like to the beach or like to the lake. I'm all for like going and like getting either kayaks or like get on a paddle boat or paddle boards, get some floaty things, open water, not so much the human soup. Eh.
So
Um,
it's the part that the water stays where it is, not that
mm,
it's moving
mm,
and circulating.
mm, mm. Yeah, I much prefer open water. I just
So no man-made lakes then.
everything here is a fucking man-made lake, but it's still a larger body of water than a fucking pool with 500 people in it. So
Oh
there's
my
that.
gosh.
Um, and don't forget for just a quick kind of thing, if you have like little ones, a lot of the malls and stuff around, some of the parks have like splash pads.
Our
You can
park
take the
does.
kids and throw them in a swimsuit and throw them on a splash pad and they can chase the water around and do the things that way.
If there are parents
And
on
that way
here,
you don't necessarily.
I know there are parents on here. Keep swimsuits in your car. Not necessarily
Mm,
the like the accessories, because the accessories can dry up and go. but keep
Right.
swimsuits in your car. Lesson learned here is because sometimes we go places and we don't realize it has a splash pad, and then it turns into tantrum time because we don't
Mm,
have like a
mm,
diaper or pull up that is made for swimming, and so that turns into a
right. And
nasty
then
mess.
cue
And then
meltdown.
yeah, so yeah, that's my tip. I haven't tried this tip out, but I feel like this would have made my life easier had I done said thing.
Probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. Um, we're already at 9 o'clock. I think we talked a lot about the about the panel last night. Um, let's see. We can do a quick run through on our
Oh,
news
let's see.
headlines.
Since drag queens are the number one thing that are harming the country, this story will mean nothing to you. A male student shot and wounded two faculty members at a Denver high school. He was under a safety plan and was patted down every day. This time, a handgun was found, and the student began shooting, then fled the premises. But you know, I am the most dangerous creature to children.
Oh, well, he was probably an underage drag queen, so
Oh, we
yeah.
start young. I get it.
The Metropolitan Museum of Art currently has over 1,000 objects in its collection that have ties to people involved in crimes related to the antiquities trade. Of those,
Mm.
fewer than half have documentation on how they left their country of origin. This is like that's not good. Basically, a lot of things have been looted, have been stolen. Um, a lot of antiquities have basically been acquired through means that were less than kosher. And the Met has already started returning objects to the countries from where they were stolen or looted, which is good.
Mhm.
But it's still.
There's a couple of documentaries on YouTube, like real documentaries, not conspiracy theories. Um, you have to weed those out. On how said culture pieces become museum pieces. It's a good little find if you can
Yeah,
find them.
and it's a thing. It's a little bit less likely now because of all the technology and stuff that we
Hmm.
have. But back in the day, even just a couple decades ago, it was much easier to get away with shit like that.
And I watched something on
uh,
Netflix about a big old heist that happened at a museum
mm,
in the 80s or 70s or 80s. But uh, that's a good watch too. Donald Trump being
mhm.
arrested. Anybody calling for
Not yet.
protest
We're still
again?
waiting.
Again? Um,
So
mm,
we all remember what happened the last time Trump called on his people, right? We do
mhm,
remember what happened. Although
mm.
I'm kind of hoping that what happened then kind of happens now because at least it'll get them out of our hair. Because if they all go and everybody
He
starts
doesn't have any.
protesting and start, burning shit down, then maybe they'll all get arrested and then they'll leave Drag Story Hour alone and then we can just keep doing what we're doing.
Excuse me, but they have to report it.
Uh, right.
You forgot.
A new Florida bill will ban folks, more specifically young girls, from talking about their periods in school. Republican backed legislation is moving through the Florida House that would bar discussion of menstrual cycles and other human sexuality topics before the sixth grade. Because we
Tell me we're
know
not
this is
going
a
to talk about
fact.
women at all
Well, I mean, it's a
without
fact that,
saying we're not going to talk about women at
nobody starts
all.
their periods until they're at least in high school.
What?
Because nobody would start their period um before sixth grade, god forbid. Like that, obviously if they start their periods before then they're sluts and god is punishing them.
Wow. I have relatives that have started their period like at 9. So
I started when I was 11.
So
Like, that's the
the discussion will
stupidest thing I
happen
have ever fucking heard.
way before. And it's a man.
And you know, these are the people that have like, they have parents that like won't talk to their kids
These are
either, and then they're gonna
also
wonder why the hell their like 13-year-old is pregnant all of a sudden. Like,
it's because
yuck.
God wanted it for them. Anyway,
Right.
sad news. Lance Reddick. I feel like I'm saying that
Reddick.
right. Um, passed away suddenly at the age of 60. He is known for his work in the John Wick movie series, Oz television series, and believed to be in the reboot of White Man Can't Jump, which I didn't know was a reboot coming anyway. But
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. Bruce Spike Lee, not Bruce Lee. Spike Lee just turned 66, I think. He so Lance was an iconic, multi-talented actor in person. Um, he was one of those people that, like, when you saw him in a movie, you were like, "Oh, yeah, I'm paying attention," because like he commanded the screen, but he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. I don't want to say that he was uh, big or over the top, but he was definitely somebody that commanded the room, and
Do we
that's kind
know
of.
what? Like he passed away suddenly. Do we know why? What happened?
I have not read on anything that says why,
Mm,
but um,
mm.
just one
I
of
was
those
just
things
curious.
that's like, why did the universe take that person when we got all these
Right.
other? Mm.
Um, this is an interesting piece of news. Grinder is actually partnering with a program that distributes free at-home HIV testing kits. So users, people who use the app on the Grinder homepage now, they can actually order one of the HIV home testing kits, and Grinder will send them one, which is kind of awesome.
Hmm. Wow,
I think that folks that maybe don't necessarily have a lot of access to things if they're in a more rural area or whatever, that being available to them is actually a really good option, especially when it comes to things like hookup apps, because what your status is doesn't matter, but knowing your status does. So that's like, I think that's a really cool
I
thing
love
for Grinder to
that.
actually be doing. But,
Hmm. Love it. Ooh, this made me a little sick earlier because I can't believe it. Um, Ugandan lawmakers passed an anti-LGBTQ plus bill that prescribes a life sentence for convicted homosexuals and the death penalty for aggravated homosexuality. Uh, and the person speaking to this in the video that is being shown on social media is very disheartening because they, as a culture, have folks that uh, so same-sex marriage has been accepted in Uganda, right? And they have, like, I almost want to say it's the equivalent to two-spirited, but for
mhm,
what they call like an effeminate man and a like a they have names. And so this is the part that is shocking everyone, including the UN, um, and has us on our toes because which direction we're heading already. And so it's so surprising that
and
they have all this culture of we're setting up, we love our lives, we love our people, and then no,
right.
we don't love our section of people,
Right. And just as a reminder, places like Chick-fil-A,
which was
money
close
that
by
goes to
where we were
Chick-fil-A,
last night.
I know, right across the street, uh, actually goes to fund things like that. It's a very known fact that Chick-fil-A, the owners of Chick-fil-A, CEO, has actually given money to the anti-LGBTQ like legislators in Uganda to push things like this forward. So if you think that buying fucking chicken doesn't matter, this is an exact example of a direct consequence of eating shit like that and giving your money to things like that. This is what that funds. So just throwing that
I mean,
out
if
there.
you like dry chicken sandwiches, go for it. Not my thing.
All right. What do we got coming up? Oh, you're gonna be at Rainbows
It's
Festival.
all you, pretty much. But on the 2nd of April, um, I will be performing with Magic. I believe that's a Sunday at 3 p.m.
It is.
at the Rainbows
I leave that night.
Festival in Phoenix.
So if you have a chance, I saw that Lady Bunny is one of the like headliners at Rainbows Festival this year.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I saw Lady Bunny was a couple of years back, and her entire shtick were tranny jokes and black dick jokes.
Mm.
I'm curious if she does the same thing, because I was not impressed the last time I saw her. I was like, "Are you serious right now? This is like, hot, like if you can't change your, like if that's what you got tranny and black jokes. Like, you need to go away, like retire." And this was recently, so I'm curious if she's going to do the same thing, because
In
I was
public?
not impressed.
Family friendly?
Yeah, she did it. She did it at a pageant. I was not impressed. I didn't think it was funny at all. I thought it was dated, racist. Like literally every fucking joke she told was either a tranny joke or a black joke or a big black dick joke.
Hmm.
I don't know if she has family friendly material, honestly.
I didn't hire her.
So I'm curious. I'm curious if whatever. Oh, we're not doing a show next week?
Oh,
No, April 5th.
not next week.
So April 5th, we will not be here. I will be in Austin. Felicia will be busy, and I am actually going to be looking for the remainder of the Wednesdays in April. I'm actually going to be looking for a guest co-host. Felicia has some things that she needs to take care of next month, which happens totally okay, not a big deal. So I'm going to look for somebody that wants to guest host with me. I don't care if you are here. I don't care if you are somewhere else. If you think that you would be a good guest host and want to join me on the Fefe in April, shoot me a message. Let's see if we can make this happen. I may have to interview you for an audition. I don't know. For God's sakes, please be interesting. There should be one episode.
One episode between you and D.
Oh, God.
And look at that. Look what just happened.
I will be in Austin. I'm gonna ignore that. I leave for Austin the night of April 2nd, and I will be there the entire week. And I will come back the following Monday evening. I'm sure by the time I get back, I will have so many things to talk about. I'm so excited to be going. I'm so excited to see all the people that I haven't seen in a couple years, because I was supposed to go last year and then Arkansas tried to kill me. So I'm super excited to be able to go back this year. I can't wait. I will try and do my best to get videos and do things and stuff. So
I have one request. I have one request.
What?
Do not bring back any communicable diseases. Every trip that you take, you come back with something. I need you to come back.
The only time I brought back anything communicable was when I went to nationals. That's it. Nothing else has ever been communicable.
COVID.
Yeah, that was when I went to nationals.
Okay. Don't come back sick. That's all I'm saying. Don't come back sick.
Generally, I get sick when I'm there, but I'm not gonna. Nothing's going to happen this trip. God damn it, nothing. It's going to be an amazing trip. I'm not gonna have COVID. I'm not gonna have shingles. I'm not gonna have anything that could put a damper on this fucking trip. Just saying. And then it's
Oh
the
my God.
weekend after I come back. So I come back on what is it, the 10th, I think. Yeah. So I should be back on the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And then that weekend, April 14th through 16th, is Southwest Love Fest, which is like the great big polycon in Tucson. And I'm actually presenting at that on that Saturday. So that'll be fun. If you want tickets, if you're interested in going, let me know. I have a link where you can save a couple bucks on some tickets. It's great. There's panels and discussions and all sorts of things that have to do with poly and kink and all sorts of stuff. So whether you are poly or not, whether you are curious and want to learn more about certain things, it's actually a really good conference. So let me know, and I will send you the link for tickets. And then May 4th.
D, I think he's ignoring us.
May 4th, I am doing a Drag Story Hour bingo at the Drink Me Tea Room. We'll get information for that up probably next month. And then June 2nd, we are doing Phoenix Fan Fusion. So all the
I feel
things.
like June's gonna hit us like in a matter of like seconds. You shut your mouth. Yeah.
That's the other thing.
I'm always open for bookings.
It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
I need rehearsal time. Anyhow, we have upcoming guests. We have upcoming guest hosts. Maybe D will be a guest host. Oh my God.
Okay, well, good night. Thank you all. Oh, damn it.
Oh my God.
And I appreciate your help so much. Thanks, babe. Love you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We love our partners, even when they stone our costumes or help us pick up props and things. Anyway, yeah, so we'll see you next week. But this has been a great conversation tonight. And remember to report it, because they wanted us to go back and tell our peers to report it. That's all I heard last night. So report it. In fact, be so annoying to report it and report everything. Microaggressions, everything.
Yep.
Because the chart they showed us, only 140 people reported something last year. So, thank you all for watching live and on the replay. And thanks to those that download the podcast and listen to us there, because I'm sure we sound better than we look. See. We will see you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. Good night.